Welcome to Max Premieres. Today we're counting down the 10 best series to arrive this year on a platform that dominates in a very specific set of genres: character-built action drama, the contemporary Western criminal thriller, and long-running science fiction franchise. The standard here is real, quality, honest, critical, and audience reception, and the actual impact these series left on the year without romanticizing what didn't work. The opinions are personal and direct. But before we start, it would mean a lot if you take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for your support. Number 10. School Spirits, Season 3. Maddie Nears wakes up in the hallways of her own high school with no memory of how she died, surrounded by the ghosts of other students who have been trapped in the same limbo for years, and with a killer somewhere among the living that nobody has been able to identify. Season 1 of this supernatural thriller built one of the best mystery atmospheres in recent youth streaming. Genuinely unsettling, carefully constructed, with a final twist that recalibrated the entire story from the beginning. Season 3 arrives with Maddie at a more advanced point in her investigation, with answers that generated new questions and with character dynamics that matured across the previous installments. School Spirits has what very few supernatural thrillers aimed at younger audiences manage to sustain: mystery as a genuine engine rather than decoration. The reception from the audience that discovered the series was that of viewers who found something they did not expect to exist in that particular space. For anyone who hasn't found it yet, this is a series that deserves considerably more attention than it receives. Number 9. Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. In the 32nd century, with Starfleet rebuilt after the events of Discovery, Starfleet Academy opens its doors to a new generation of cadets arriving from the most varied corners of the galaxy and learning what it means to become the kind of people the Federation genuinely needs. Season 1 of this new entry in the Star Trek universe bets on a younger format without abandoning the philosophical core that makes the franchise unique. The idea that radical diversity, curiosity, and respect as active principles can build something meaningfully better. The reception was divided 84% from critics against 52% from audience scoring platforms, with debate around the tone and pacing of the early episodes, but with general consensus that the series found its own identity in the final stretch of the season. For Star Trek universe fans looking for something focused on character development rather than starship action, this first season offers enough to justify continuing investment in the story. The universe has always known how to reinvent itself through genuinely new formats. Number 8. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Season 4. Years before James T. Kirk took command of the Enterprise, the ship was already exploring the galaxy under Captain Christopher Pike, an officer who knows his own fate and who, despite that knowledge, chooses to approach every mission with the same generosity and the same curiosity. The series recovered the self-contained episode format that made the original franchise great, with adventures that range from existential drama to pure comedy across consecutive episodes. And across its first 3 seasons, it became the most beloved Star Trek series of the franchise's modern era. Season 4 arrives with the cast fully settled: Anson Mount, Rebecca Romijn, Ethan Peck as Spock, and with the creative confidence that can only be earned by having already demonstrated that the formula consistently works. For franchise fans looking for something that honors the original spirit without being directionless nostalgia, this is the series doing exactly that with precision and care. Season after season, one of streaming's most dependably satisfying and most creatively ambitious ongoing saga entries. Number 7. Criminal Minds, Evolution, Season 19. 15 seasons built the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit as the reference point for American criminal procedural television, with a format that combined the psychological profiling of killers with the personal lives of the profilers in a way that few series in the genre ever successfully replicated. The Evolution version arrived in 2022 with a darker and more serialized bet cases extending beyond individual episodes, threats at larger scale, reassembling the original cast around a format that updates the formula without breaking what made it work for 2 decades. Season 19 arrives with the team confronting a new nationwide threat that demands exactly the kind of unconventional thinking that has always defined this specific group. For viewers who did not follow the complete Evolution arc, This installment functions as a standalone entry point thanks to the episodic structure the series always maintained. For the franchise's loyal audience, each new season is confirmation that the format genuinely withstands the test of time, solid and consistent as it has always been. Number 6. Mayor of Kingstown, Season 5. In Kingstown, Michigan, the only industry that matters is the prison system, and the McCluskey family has built its power by acting as the intermediary between inmates, guards, law enforcement, and the criminals operating on the outside. Mike McCluskey negotiates, threatens, betrays, and protects with the equanimity of someone who learned long ago that in this system there are no real good or bad actors, only interests and consequences. Jeremy Renner has spent several seasons inhabiting this character with an intensity that combines the brutality of the environment with the exhaustion of someone who carries everything without anyone fully seeing it. Season 5 arrives with the power balance in Kingstown altered by the events of previous seasons, and with Mike in a position that no longer has the same control capacity he started with. Fans of the series recognize the pattern. Each season pushes the characters one step closer to the edge before revealing who survives and at what cost. The result is crime drama that improves with the familiarity the viewer builds with a very specific and very unpleasant world. Number 5. Mobland, Season 2. Organized crime in London functions like any business operating at sufficient scale. It has internal conflicts, suppliers and clients, and people whose specific job is keeping the peace between parties so the operation is never interrupted. Harry D'Souza is that person, the fixer, the consigliere, the one who makes what cannot be done through civilized means resolve itself without anyone officially having to acknowledge it happened. Tom Hardy in the central role brought to the first season a psychological density that the crime genre rarely develops with this kind of patience. Someone who understands the world he operates in better than anyone and who pays a very specific price for that understanding. Season 2 arrives with a power balance that shifted at the end of the first season, and with Harry in a position that tests precisely the kind of skills that define him. For fans of Tom Hardy and of well-constructed British crime drama, Season 2 of Mobland is the kind of return one waits for with concrete and well-grounded reasons. Number 4. Landman, Season 3. Tommy Norris works as a landman in West Texas, the person who resolves the problems of oil companies before those problems reach the lawyers, before they reach the newspapers, and long before they reach whoever would need to decide whether the problem existed at all. Billy Bob Thornton inhabits this character with the economy of movement of an actor who knows precisely when not to perform, and built across the first 2 seasons one of the most convincing lead performances in contemporary prestige drama. The series by Taylor Sheridan captures the world of Texas oil, the economic brutality, the tribal loyalties, the distance between those who extract and those who profit with an authenticity that his other productions also pursue, but that here has the advantage of genuinely specific and deeply researched source material. Season 3 continues the established conflicts with Tommy in an even more compromised position than at the end of Season 2. For those who haven't started, begin from the beginning, because the accumulation of context is a significant part of what makes the show work. Number 3. Lioness, Season 3. The CIA runs an infiltration program where operatives recruited from the military branches are embedded in their targets' environments for months or years at the human cost that implies for people who already carry the weight of a demanding training background and past. Zoe Saldana as Joe and Nicole Kidman as the CIA station chief, supervising the program built across 2 seasons, one of the most effective protagonist pairings in recent political action drama. Season 3 arrives with Joe on a new mission, and with the consequences of the previous ones still active in her body, in her relationships, and in the fractures of an institution that demands more than it ever gives back. Lioness is the Taylor Sheridan series that most clearly and honestly speaks about the personal cost of service without glorification, and that combination sets it apart from any other military thriller in streaming. Season 3 has all the necessary elements in place to potentially be the most emotionally complete and fully realized of the 3 seasons so far. Number 2. Tulsa King, Season 4. A New York mob boss walks out of 25 years in prison to discover that the organization is sending him to open territory in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a city he doesn't know, with people who don't understand his world, and with the implicit understanding that nobody in New York actually expects him to come back. Dwight Manfredi, played by Sylvester Stallone in a television return that nobody predicted would work this well, is a character who uses the discomfort of displacement as both his engine for comedy and his source of genuine humanity. Taylor Sheridan's series blends the fish-out-of-water premise with crime drama without either genre overwhelming the other, and Stallone has in this role something he hadn't been given in decades: a character with time, context, and room to be genuinely funny. Season 4 arrives with Dwight more settled in Tulsa, but with new complications that once again disrupt the balance he built. Tulsa King is proof that a seemingly simple concept can sustain multiple seasons when the writing and central performance are consistently at the level the premise demands. Number 1. Dutton Ranch. The Dutton name has spent years as shorthand for a very specific kind of American fiction: Montana ranches, fights over land, families who defend what they have with the same ferocity their ancestors used to build it in the first place. This new series in the Dutton universe returns to that territory, with its own story that requires no prior knowledge of the saga to enter fully, and that functions simultaneously as introduction and as deepening for different types of viewers. Season 1 launched in May and closed its season finale on the 4th of July across 9 episodes that maintained a narrative and production level that justifies the top position on this list. Taylor Sheridan knows how to build worlds with their own internal rules, and with characters who feel genuinely real, even when their situations push toward the extreme. And Dutton Ranch applies that skill to a story carrying the weight of a long tradition, while having the creative freedom of a fresh starting point. The platform's most anticipated new series of the year delivered precisely what it was expected to deliver. The number 1 on this list is the platform's biggest new premiere of the year, and the result it delivered, with a first season that launched in May and closed its finale on the 4th of July, confirms that the dramatic universe built over years knows exactly what to do when it has the right material and the space to execute it properly. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Comments about the ranking order are always welcome.